We are pleased to be joined by author and researcher Ralph Ellis. Let us begin to unpack some of your interesting biblical research, Ralph, by first exploring the concept of what is referred to as the biblical Exodus. In your opinion, Ralph, what caused the biblical Exodus?
In a word, Santorini, or Thera, as they call it, which is the big volcano in the Mediterranean. So we come here to the sort of nub of the whole problem of both the Old Testament and the New Testament, is that within the Old Testament, they try to portray a story which is totally disconnected from history. And the whole purpose of these books, and now there's about 10 of them in the series, I think, is to put biblical history back into real history, because at present it's as if biblical history happened on a different planet. And that's just not tenable. You've either got two choices here at present. Either the entire story is fictional and it's been made up, which some people, of course, do subscribe to, or there is elements of history in it, and we've just been looking in the wrong place or the wrong era for that history. And the Exodus is one of those items that it's very easy to discover in the historical record. All you have to do is shift the timeline a little bit. And the cause of the Exodus was, of course, as we know, the plagues. And the plagues were caused by the eruption of Santorini. Now, Santorini was the largest volcanic eruption in the Mediterranean in probably the last 7,000 years. Certainly within recent history, since 2000 BC, there has never been another volcano like Santorini in the Mediterranean. And how do we know that the Exodus was caused by Santorini? Well, because the Old Testament, the Torah, tells us. Moses says to his people, as God told him. So he says to his people, I will take handfuls of ash from the fire, and I will throw them into the air, and they will become a small dust across the land of Egypt. There is no better description you could possibly get of the long-range fallout from a large volcanic eruption. Small ash falling across the land of Egypt. And of course, the other plague that, after the plagues, the other major event that happened, was the Israelites being led by a column of fire and a column of smoke, and the waters parting. Now, the waters parting is quite obviously a tsunami. So we have three elements there all together. We have an ash fall, we have a large cloud that is maybe a fire cloud as well as just being an ash cloud, and we have the waters being parted. And this is a perfect description of the effects, the long-range effects that would have hit Egypt from Santorini, which is about 900 kilometers away. Furthermore, we know it's true because ancient man could not have guessed this sequence of events. It's very, very difficult for someone to have envisaged that a volcano would cause not only ashfall and a large pillar of cloud, but the water to recede. That's very difficult. How would anyone know, if they had not witnessed it, that a tsunami will cause the sea to rush out before it comes back in again to consume the army that's following you, maybe. It has to be an eyewitness account of that particular event. And we know that the Santorini event was would have had the sea rushing out because it was a subduction volcano. The volcano collapsed, and of course that will cause the sea to move out before it moves back in again. So quite clearly, we have a first-hand event, a first-hand description of the long-range effects of Santorini, and it was that caused the Exodus. That was the main event, and the Exodus itself was caused by the political ramifications of that event. It caused a political dispute within Egypt. And that was, in some senses, the basis, the actual foundations upon which the Bible was founded, because this is the first event. We're skipping Genesis for a minute. We'll discuss Genesis a little bit later on. But this was the first event, really, within the annals of the Israelites, as they became known, that caused the production of the Torah.
As we continue exploring the information and research presented by Ralph Ellis, we encourage everyone to join Ralph in discussion on his Facebook page, The Gospel of King Jesus. Post your questions, comments, and ideas for Ralph and other page members to comment on. And join us also for future live webcasts that will be featured on the Facebook page.